Right, okay, it's a bit up in the air. Yeah, okay, we're back again. Owen, Brian and Andrew make up Pulses of Tradition. The lads saw you guys doing your thing in the Clarion. They're blown away at one of the big CBA dinners. So this is what you do. But this, rather than going cold into it, it needs a little bit of explaining.
Yeah, a small bit, and I suppose we are three members of the troupe. There's
It's a big, huge posse of you.
There is. There's 6 musicians, 3 dancers.
Yeah. So did you lose a few on the Corrine Road coming in?
We did, yeah. They got lost from the way.
They went into Dino's.
Exactly.
Well, the 3 you got here anyway. So talk me in, because it's first up with bodhrans, and we got Andrew on a. Have you got a box there to do a bit of Irish dancing?
A piece of wood, yeah, a little bit of timber.
Okay, off you go.
Great. So the piece is called Blast On. It's a mix of bodhrans dance and an Indian vocal percussion called Connachal. So here we go.
A first for radio.
Exactly. 2, 3. Tari get the tong, goo tari get the tong, ta tong, goo tari get the 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 tong, ta tong, goo tari get the tong, goo tari get the tong, goo tari get the tong, tari get the tong, tari get the tong, goo tari get the tong, tari get the tong, tari get the tong, goo tari get the tong, tari get the tong, tari get the tong, goo tari get the tong, tari get the tong, tari get the ta dit tam, tari get the ta dong tam, tari get the ta dit tam. Tari get the dong tam, tari get the ta dit tam, ta dit tam, ta dit tam, tari get the dong tam, dong tam, dong tam, tari get the ta dit tam, ta dit tam, ta dit tam, tari get the dong tam, dong tam, dong tam, tari get the negative 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 tam, negative tam, negative tam, tari get the negative tam, negative tam, negative tam, tari get the negative tam, negative time, negative time, negative time, negative time, negative time, negative time.
Man, I'm speechless. Which can't be said for you.
Breathless.
Oh my God. I mean, that works so well from an acoustic point of view, but it's very visual as well. I mean, I'm blown away by that. That's like Stomp Oscuelga.
That's good enough for us.
Wow. That's serious choreographing going on there as well. And timing. And the dancing is unreal.
Thanks very much.
Where's that influence? You say it was Indian, Irish?
Yeah, the vocal percussion is a tradition in India of instead of playing the I suppose the percussion on drums, you do it with your voice.
What are you saying? Are you saying anything with those words?
They're syllables. They would have, I suppose, originally come out of playing drums like tabla. Like when you learn tabla, I studied in UCC with Mel Mercier for a couple of years, and we had a guy come over teach us tabla. So when you learn to play a tabla, you must learn the syllables first. So you actually speak the rhythms, and then you transfer that, and each sound you say is replicated on the drum. So like a da, there's a specific movement for the sound da and teen and different, the different sounds. But that developed into its own kind of a vocal percussion tradition.
But it's grounded in Celtic origins, isn't it?
Not so much the Indian side thing, no. But I suppose what I saw was the connection between that and lilting in Ireland. Like you have, lilting is a much looser tradition, I suppose. This is very very precise. Like you can't just kind of pick whatever you want to do yourself. It's there's very definite patterns that you have to follow, and there's a format to it. So I suppose I didn't want to mess too much with that.
No, and also you have to bear in mind that Andrew you come over here because you have also got to be choreographed to work with the guys because you're dancing.
That's right, yeah. And it was funny, like with the conical, the time signatures are completely different to what you find within the traditional music. So it was a whole new.
Do I pick up an American accent?
Maybe. I've been living in America for the last year now. I just got married there recently.
I was going to ask the question: what is it with American men and Irish dancing?
The women.
Do the women love you? Yeah.
No, not so much anymore.
There's something. You know something? Irish dancing has become very sexy. It's very appealing now, isn't it? I can only imagine what you guys must sound when you've got the full band going. No disrespect to what you're doing, which is mind blowing, but it must be fabulous visually.
Oh, it is. It's fabulous. And we had Pat Kiernan from Cork was in with us as well at the initial stages, looking at the design of the show. So visually, it's fabulous. We have a multimedia aspect to the show as well, and that there's a huge screen. So you obviously, I saw you looking over the table there to see.
Yeah,
you're obviously drawn to
see
Andrew's feet. You want to see his feet.
I want to see his feet. Yeah.
Well, with this show, we've a huge screen right behind the stage. We have two fabulous cameras that come right in on the dancers' feet, so you can see exactly what you were actually looking for. It was great to see that you were actually looking to see Andrew's feet there, and in this show, you can see from the very back seat in the Triskel what's going on.
Together in unison.
Yeah, we're very, very conscious and cognizant of that within the show. So all that is very much choreographed, designed.
Now, I mentioned earlier on, I've got Damien O'Mahony here, who's the senior chief executive at Cork City Council. I don't know how you do so much, because you're doing all sorts of different things. You do one is equally as good as the next, but you tour with these guys and they're overseas trying to attract business home, is it?
This is kind of low-hanging fruit, Neil, in many ways. When you look at places like Dingle and Galway, it was fantastic the amount of traditional music they had, which was upfront and available to tourists. Cork had as much and always has had, but sort of only for the initiated. And all that Cork City Council really did was bring what was already in the city up into the radar so people could really enjoy it. And along with Pulses of Tradition, which by the way was written by our banjo player here and our bodhran player Brian, we have 700 sessions last year with Elite sessions, which are free sessions right throughout the city, and they run year round, but of course there's a greater concentration of them in the summer months. But Pulses has been to Bordeaux, has been to Rennes, has been to Edinburgh, and we're going to China shortly.
What's the reaction like after they do a set?
It's phenomenal, and no disrespect to Riverdance. Riverdance has done so much to bring Irish tradition to the masses, but people have said who have seen it in Triskel that it's hugely authentic and very true to the tradition itself. That's Pulses, and it's really touched people's hearts. They see it for what it is. There's no pigs in the kitchen kind of stuff here, no artifice to impress tourists. This is the real McCoy, and I think people react to that.
Yeah. Because for too long we were peddling that kind of thing, and there's something very cosy and warm about that, but it's not really Ireland. You know, the thing you're referring to, the old traditional diddly-eye-die tweet thing.
It's not, and I think the one thing that we're told by the experts in these fields, people like Fáilte Ireland, when they talk about the segmentation of the market, what people are looking for is authenticity, and that's hopefully what we're giving them in Cork now in abundance.
Can I ask you, because we were chatting about this if we came on the air, you have plans at City Council for the Lee sessions, as you say, the stuff that's happening in Triskel. There's a lot of festivals going on, of which RedFM would be very keen to be hands-on involved with you going forward, but also you have plans for the Elizabeth IV. There's a lot happening, is there? There's a good buzz about.
There is. I think maybe for many generations, when places like Killarney and Dingle and Galway were really had their hands out for the tourism money, Cork was doing very well, thank you, commercially, and we kind of missed the boat to some extent on really putting ourselves forward as a proper tourism destination. And we were faced with the situation where people would fly into Cork and move on to West Cork or move on to Bunratty or whatever it is. We're changing that now, hopefully, and we have those gems, as you said, Neil, places like Elizabeth Fort, probably the best preserved star fort in the world. We have we're still very much in the running to build the National Diaspora Centre, which we think would attract between 500,000 and 600,000 people annually.
You also have the Conference Centre, which will be multifaceted, of course, and
which is going to be amazing. Yeah. And so I think there's an awful lot happening, and I think there's a terrific confidence in Cork at the moment. You can see that with the BAM proposal for the event centre. You can see it with Cleary's proposals on Albert Keena, and you can just see cranes coming up again, and it's such a good thing to see. And I think there's a great mood of optimism about the city now.
Are you happy, incidentally? I know it's a sidebar issue, but I'd like to get a response from you in council. You happy with the cycle initiative and everything, and the lanes and all that kind of stuff?
Change is always going to meet some level of resistance, and when people are used to the city being in a particular way. But if we're serious about sustainable modes of transport, I think certainly there was disruption, but what we've seen with the cycle lanes now that have been put in, they're being used to a huge extent, and the amount of the Coca-Cola cycles that are being used is now. And I think over the next few years, Neil, what you're going to see is that people are going to use far more sustainable modes of transport, and that can't be good
Yeah,
for
you're
the
right.
city.
They are being used. You can't argue with that. The proof is in the pudding. Right, good to see you, Damien. Can we give some tickets? No, before you go, just tell me, mind your head there, what's the story with tickets and the next gig where these guys can be heard and seen?
The Pulses will run every Thursday and Friday night from now until mid-September, and we would love to offer your listeners some tickets for it. So if they'd like to, we've 20 tickets available for people to go along, and we'd be delighted to give them out.
Super. I'll talk to Emer and we'll organise that, maybe some today, and certainly we'll give it a good lash next week. Gentlemen, another musical piece. We've got Owen, Brian and Andrew from Pulses of Tradition. You seem to be the talking ambassador from the point of doing the intros. What have you got now?
A couple of reels this time. This is a tune called the 12 Pins, which is a Galway tune, and the second one is called The Trip to Collinstown.
Okay.
So, and again, this will feature Andrew on feet for the second one. So
go for it, guys. To round off the week and to start the weekend. That was terrific, guys. It's so great that you came in. Good luck with everything. It sounds fantastic.
thanks very much. Thank you.
That's Pulses of Tradition, the lads Rain, and thank you, Damien, as well. Good luck to you, and well done to everybody at Team who are responsible for Pulses. We have Triskel Christchurch tickets for the lads to give away. They're there every week over the summer. I think Damien said every Thursday and Friday. Thumbs up if it's Thursday and Friday. It is Thursdays and Fridays.